So here we are in the software for the Magic F30P. It's MagicArt 5 that I'm using. We have here just a quite a simple design but with quite a few parts that I'm going to be engraving on a silver-plated notepad today. These are just regular images. I've actually used PNGs to bring them in to the software. As you can see, for bringing in images, you've either got an SVG button to the top left hand corner, or you've got insert image. When you press insert image, it gives you all the different types of files you can import into MagicArt 5. Obviously you can buy SVGs online, or you can create your own in something like Illustrator. So it's quite versatile as to what you can bring in. These are just standard fonts which are in my PC and come up as options. Obviously if you were selling things, you have to have the right fonts that have the license to do that. But as for downloading fonts themselves onto your PC, the next time you open the Magic Engrave software, as long as you've imported them in the right or downloaded them in the right format, they will show in this list here to be used. I have done my images separately so that I can decide whether I want to engrave them attach engravings, outline engravings, single line engravings. I can adapt that to how I want each image to appear. So these rings, I am going to do I think I'm just going to do an outline engraving on those. Once you click on the object that you want to create a toolpath for, your toolpath options appear at the ribbon at the top here. I'm going to use an outline. This is going to be diamond drag engraved. Obviously, if you had the cutting clamp out, which is an extra option when you buy the machine, if you want to cut your metal, then you'll be using the rotary spindle, and you can select which end mill cutters or V cutters you're using, or edit and change it to your own settings for the size of tool and speed you want to run the machine at. I am going to just use diamond tip outline. The Z clearance is how much you want the tooltip to lift between each part of the engraving. So if you had curved object, you would want the clearance quite high, because you don't want the tool to accidentally scratch your piece as it's moving to the next area of the engraving. This is flat, fairly flat, but it is quite bouncy because this is a notepad, so I'm hoping it doesn't depress too much. So I'm going to give that a couple of millimeters clearance. High quality tool path. The depth, when you're diamond drag engraving, it's actually the pressure, not the depth, it's going to engrave. I'm going to put that as 1.2 because I'm happy with that on that type of material through experience. And I'm going to create that tool path. And if I zoom in and get rid of the original artwork, you'll see exactly what that's going to engrave. Okay, now the letters in the centre here, I think I'm actually going to hatch those, so that will give again diamond tip and just normal diamond tip hatching. It gives you the option of the direction you want the lines inside the letters to be hatched at. I'm going to keep it as horizontal. I'm going to keep my Z clearance the same, high quality tool path. The speed is fine. similar depth. Now it gives you an option here to engrave the outline. I am going to do that, so what will happen is it will engrave an outline of the letters themselves and the hatching gap so the lines, tiny little lines inside the outline will be spaced at 0.1 millimeters apart. You can change that as you see. And we'll just show you that. And if I zoom in, you can see the tiny little lines that are going to be spaced at 1 millimeter. Anyway, I'll continue on like that and make sure all my tool paths are created. And later on today, I will show you how I actually place it on the machine and engrave that. The size of what I'm drawing, what I'm engraving on, the size of the piece I'm engraving on, I'll just show you options of how to create that when you open a new document. So if we go File, New, so down the left hand side it gives you various templates. So if I wanted a rectangle, I can either use a preset or put in my own sizes. We'll just pick a random one, and that would be your template. I actually create my own size, my own templates here at the top left of the ribbon. You've got different options for circle, ellipse, lines, curves, rectangles, polygons, and I just draw my own rectangle. You can fill it or leave it clear, and you can also alter the line thickness if you want to, but I just create something to the size of the piece I'm going to engrave, so that I know where to work my designs to. When it's all ready, you would just highlight whichever toolpath you want to engrave. Let me just get rid of the background again to make sure I do select the toolpath and not the original artwork. And then you can send it to the machine. Here you've got options: flat, uneven material. This is flat, so I don't need to worry about that too much. I always select the adjust engraving position, because that means once it's got to the machine, you can check with the laser pointers whereabouts that is going to engrave on your piece, so you can double check when it's there. And then to send it to the machine, you just press the start engraving. I'm not going to send that to the machine at the moment. I'll do some more videos another time or later today when this is engraving. But thank you for watching.
So I'm just in the middle of engraving the silver-plated notepad on the F30P. I'm now going to send another piece of engraving across. As you can see, I've got it taped quite solidly because I didn't want to take the hinge off the notepad, so I've taped the notepad bit to the base, used some sticky tape to hold it on the flatbed, and then used an array of other bits to clamp it steady to the machine. I'm just going to send the next part of engraving across. Okay, and what it's asking me to do is just check with the infrared beams that are coming down onto the pad that it's all set in the right position. So I'll just have a look at that. And that's perfect, so I can put the lid down and start that off. It measures the height of the material with a probe first. Don't know how bright this is for you to see. And then when it's done, I'll show a photograph. of how it comes out.